Hello friends, today we'll be discussing determinants of personality. You know, in previous videos we have discussed what is personality. Now it become pertinent on my part and on our part to know what are the all factors, all the variables, all the traits and other psychological constructs that are responsible for designing a very important variable or psychological phenomena we call as a personality. Now we must explore them. We must know what are that uh, reasoning or inductive features that defines our personality or that ensures that we have something, generally we call it as a personality. So now let us start with today's discussion, the determinants of personality. There are some pertinent questions that arise, or an individual can ask me or ask anyone, what causes us to behave as we behave? Very philosophical question. Then comes, what factors determine a unique and consistent behavioral pattern? Or what are the variables that are responsible for our behavior that is consistent or similar, that manifest similar actions or different across situations and unique in itself. What are the factors responsible for that? Then comes the, is it a single factor or multitude of factors responsible for a personality pattern? So dear friends, in this video I have tried to address these questions which are related to the very important phenomena, psychological phenomena we call as a personality. So let us start our video as a custom in my videos. There is a brief introduction, and in the introduction part we'll start with the definition of personality. Personality refers to unique, relatively stable qualities that characterize an individual's behavior across different situations or a period of time. This is the definition given by the NCERT. Then comes the definition, most famous definition given by the Alport in 1961. The dynamic organization within the individual of those psychophysical systems that determine his unique adjustment to his environment. See, the Alport was a very prodigious psychologist who defined personality as a dynamic organization within an individual, and that consists of some psychophysical systems that determine his unique adjustment to his environment, means how we adjust with our environment, and that adjustment is unique to each individual, and that is guided by our internal psychological as well as physical systems, and that all make together we call as a personality. Finally, personality is, is an umbrella term, and that is determined by the several following factors. So what are these factors? So these factors you call it as a determinants or some variables, or you can call it a components of personality. First one comes as a biological factors, then psychological factors, then we'll be discussing social factors, cultural factors, and finally environment factors. So these are the five most significant and major determinants that defines our personality. So let us go one by one. What are the biological factors or the determinants responsible for personality are? The most important one is heredity. What is heredity? The gift we receive from our parents in the form of 23 pairs of chromosomes. That chromosomes carries 23 pairs of chromosomes. 23 we get from our mother, and 23 we receive from our father, and that a set of 23 chromosomes are a genetic blueprint or a molecular structure that sets the limit for the personality pattern within which individual grows and develops. It defines through facial features, your gender, muscular structure, temperament, etc. and etc. So this is the first biological factor. Heredity defines your personality. The second one is your most important biological factor is your, yes, you could get from these two images, you can guess that is, yes, you're right, there's a brain. It's a headquarter of your body and that works round the clock and that determines, then you are very curious to know that brain is also responsible for determining your personality. Yes, brain is the most important biological organ that determines the personality in its broad pattern, how it is, because the total cognitive domain is within your brain. Your thinking pattern, your attention, your memory, everything that comes through your senses is stored in your brain, processed in your brain, and then finally converted into your behavior. And what is that personality? Personality is manifested through your behavior. So, brain is the second most important biological factor responsible for the determination of the personality. The third comes the physical characteristics. Yes, we tend to resemble our parents as far as our physical characters are concerned. Why? Because that characteristics are the expression of the genes we received from our parents. Obviously, we resemble our parents. So that's are very important. So physical characteristics are visible. That comes under the purview of personality and physical characteristics such as height, your weight, your skin color, eyes and hair color. These are very, very important bearing on the personality profile of an individual. Though in common sense, people tell that these are the only factor that defines personality. That notion is entirely go against the psychological concept of personality, because physical characteristics are one of the important component of personality, but it is not purely it doesn't purely define the personality. Absolutely, physical characteristics cannot define the personality. So, dear friends, these are the three important hereditary factors. That is the three biological factors. First one is heredity, second one is the brain, third one is your physical characteristics. Then comes psychological determinants of the personality. The first one comes, see, this one, intelligence or intellectual ability. This is purely related to your brain. What is that? The cognitive component that determines the personality through demonstration of problem solving ability, adaptability, decision making ability, and rationalized thinking. So these are the few your abilities or your capacities that expresses that you are an intelligent, you have some intelligence in you. And intelligence is one of the major psychological determinant of the personality. Then comes your attitude. What is attitude? It defines the personality. Attitude means your some ability, psychological ability to towards you having perspective towards a situation or an event or environment. So your attitude defines the personality through perceptual approach towards object environment, means how we perceive the objects, how we perceive our immediate environment. That is your attitude, and that defines your personality. See, the little girl is running on a treadmill and she's very happy. You are running on a treadmill, simultaneously you are happy. What does this? It shows that the girl is attitude toward this treadmill is positive, and that defines her personality. Then comes the next, that is emotions. So emotions, in my previous videos I told you, dear friends, emotions are the ornaments of your behavior. We are our life is If you equate our life with a smartphone, in that case, I can say safely, I can say that emotionless individual is akin to a smartphone without active internet connection. Means emotions give color to our life. Emotions are the ornaments of behavior. So when emotions have so central role in our in our behavior, certainly they have some role in your defining the personality. Emotional response to internal and external stimuli plays an important role in defining the interaction with other fellow beings that determines the personality. How we respond to internal as well as external stimuli and how we interact with our fellow human beings are the important concepts that defines your personality. Then comes your interest. What is interest? Interest is the consistent and focused attention towards the specific object. You can see in this image, these two young children are so much attached, emotionally interested. I want to make it clear here. They are emotionally interested towards this baby. So this their behavior expresses their interest at that moment only. This doesn't mean that they are so interested in they whenever they find some young baby they catch hold of him or her. No, no, no. At that moment. But if they consistently behave with all babies like this, that can be safely said that they have interest in babies. So leave alone that. We'll define how interest determines our personality. I told you interest is the consistent and focused attention towards a specific object, situation or process, and that determines the your personality structure as well as your personality pattern. Because towards objects or towards situation, how we react and what is our focused attention or interest towards that, and that not only manifests but determines our personality. So these were the four psychological major determinants of the personality. Then comes the social determinants. First one is under the social heading. First one is the situational factors or situations. Being an integral part of social setup, individual faces social situations more often that plays instrumental role in determining the personality pattern. We know that we are the social beings and we are the integral part of society. Though society is made from us, but still we are part of the society and that is inseparable part of the society. If we are the inseparable part, so by virtue of a very active member an inseparable part of the society, we of more often face various situations, social situations, and that determines and plays significant role in deciding our personality structure and your personality pattern. Situational factors influences our decision making, our relationships, response patterns, and approach to various situations. This is a very important point I want to make it here. When you are in a situation, particular situations, and in that case you are in a social situation, these situations not only define your personality but they significantly influence our decision making, our relationships, our response patterns, and approach to various situations. Let us take an example of decision making. So when you are in a family or suppose there is a family function going on, lots of people around you, and suddenly you receive a phone call. What do you do? Now here you have to make a decision. Now you will see that no, it is a very important function today, and a lot of my friends are along with me, and we have to dance. Now we are ready for the dance or something, some cultural that is facilitation or cultural celebration. In that case, you sometimes may not receive that call. But now take a Same, you go take different situation. When you are sitting alone in a on a bench in a park and you see a phone call, certainly you will pick up the phone and you receive the call. Now, see here, what point I want to make here is that social situations, situational factors influence our decision making. It's a very crude example, but it explains the phenomena which I want to make it here. Your relationships are influenced by the situation, social setups. Okay, your response, how you respond to the stimuli, that is also the very important part that is influenced by your situational factors. Then comes the social interaction, how we interact with our fellow beings. What are the interpersonal relations? Because our interaction and our interpersonal relations contribute in the formation of our social as well as a personal identity as well as our self. So, three things here. Your social interaction defines your identity, your personal identity, and yourself, which are fundamental determinants of personality. See, your social identity, one, then your personal identity, then yourself. These are the three fundamental determinants of personality, and that develops due to your level of social interaction with your society, because we are the integral part of society. So these are the two important factors, social factors, situational and social interactions. Along with that, we have one more, and that is very important. That is your home and family. Dear friends, family is the fundamental institution that makes a house a home and have indelible impact on the development of personality of a child. You know, family is the first institution that tutors the child, that have significant role in the development of personality. Family, through family, your children learns, they form their memories, they develop their values, they develop their cultural pattern. Not only that, your future, what you are today, is have your footprints of your home and family. So this is a very important important institution that have its say in the personality. Primary learning occurs at home. That is the base learning, I call it, under the guidance and supervision of family, which plays pivotal role in determining the personality. So family and home, they create a base learning and baseline for the learning, and that defines your personality in a significant way. So these are the three social factors that determines your personality. Then comes your cultural factors. So there is a thin line between social and cultural factors. But being an academicians and being a students, we must understand the difference between social and cultural. Social means we are staying in a group of similar species. Cultural means practicing your beliefs, practicing your living system, how you live and what are systems you adopt. That is your cultural settings. So what are the cultural factors that defines or determines your personality? First one is your beliefs and traditions. The set of beliefs and traditions earned through cultural interaction molds the personality, making it culture dominated by learning by observation. So here's the very 2 point important here is personality. Though we receive our gene and gift from our parents, that is heredity. But that heredity, that gift are cleared, are developed under the scope of your cultural system. Your culture defines your role. Culture helps in defining your self. So that's why we call the personality is a culture dominated. Various studies have proved that. And children learn by observation in a culture. No one tell them to go to temple, go to a gurudwara, or go to a church. No one asks them. They observe that. No one tells them what dress they should wear, what food they eat. They observe the parents, they observe their family members and start behaving that way. That means they are learning by observation, and certainly that influences their personality in a significant way. Then comes your norms and customs. See, dear friends, norms are unwritten rules. See, very important funny thing here. We tend to disregard the written rules. Yes, I have seen various times people tend to cross the red lights. People tends to little here and there. I have seen several times people are parking their vehicles exactly where the no parking board is placed. So here what I want to tell is we try to disregard the written rules, but the norms, which are the unwritten rules of the society, we always follow them and follow not only in the letter but with spirit too. So, how much influential these norms are? So, norms and customs of a culture provide impetus and direction to the development of personality through your behavior modification and learning. Means your norms and customs have so much power, psychological power in them that modify your behavior. And that behavior modification comes with learning. Or you can say, what is learning is a permanent behavior modification. And that is done by your norms and culture and norms and customs. That's a part of cultural factors. And once your behavior is modified, certainly there is a change in your personality. As you know, personality dynamic organization. It has dynamism in it. So, dear friends, the two part that your cultural and the next one is your values. You know, the what are the values? The ideals that are learned from socio-cultural interaction are considered important to imbibe. Means in socio-cultural environment, when social and cultural, when these factors interact together, they produce some ideas, some beliefs, and which are considered by the people as very important one. And that interaction leads to learning. And due to their regular uses and having provided these values, these interaction provided the better results, people tend to imbibe these interactional products, and these are nothing but your values. The values form the base of the personality style, which is considered to be virtuous. Means if you had, we like to have virtuous personality, then we have to consider values as a base. And certainly in a socio-cultural environment, your values provide base for your personality to grow. And finally, the last in cultural determinants is your religion. What is religion? The set of belief system influenced by your cultural, social, and geographical settings. Here there are three important points. We develop a belief system by virtue of our culture, by virtue of our society, and by virtue of our geographical location. See, geography also defines your values, your belief system, and these are the three important components that this create a system of beliefs in us, and that is nothing but a religion. They tends to define and determine the personality development by focusing on specific behavioral pattern. When we practice a particular religion or when we practice a particular belief system, we try to focus on or try to have our attention on specific behavioral pattern. We are psychologically molded to behave in a specific pattern by virtue of our culture, geographical settings, and society, and that is nothing but your religion, and that impacts and influences your personality pattern. The last one, dear friends, is your environmental determinants or environmental factors. Under this heading, the first one is your immediate environment, means the environment surrounding you. Environment not 10 or 20 kilometers away to you. The environment is just immediately surrounding you. The immediate environment that contains your ecological component, which influence the personality development. Means in which type of natural ecology you are living. That has very important say in determining your personality. Then comes your socio-cultural environment. Earlier we were talking about the your ecological or your physical environment. Now there is socio-cultural environment, and dear friends, socio-cultural environment is abstract environment. You cannot perceive that, but you experience that. You can prove that, but you cannot show to someone else. So sociocultural is abstract environment, and abstract things impact you, may not impact you physically, but certainly it's impact you psychologically and have a significant say in that. The individuals learns important ideals, lessons, concepts, response patterns, dressing style, your food habits, manners, self-control, and self-regulation in socio-cultural environment which determines the personality type. See, your socio-cultural environment provides you various consistent, unique, and different stimuli, different situations. Through that situations, we learn some by observation, some by our experience, or some by modifying our behavior. And that environment stimulate you, arouse you by various systems. And due to that systems, we adopt certain lifestyle in us. We try to dress as per our sociocultural environment. We develop taste of the food due to our sociocultural environment. We have self-control on us. How do you know self-control? You know, suppose you are sitting in your house and you are feeling hungry. You are trying to eat something. Immediately your friend came and they start discussing something very funny thing to you. Funny thing regarding your class. Immediately you stop eating. You start discussing with him. Your mother will shout, "Come and have your dinner," but you are busy with your friends. So what is that? Your self-control. What is the self-control? You control yourself because now your physical requirement has been converted to psychological requirement and you're discussing something different with your friend. This is a very crude example. Same self-control means you have what to eat, what to behave, what to wear. That is dependent upon you. But in context of a socio-cultural settings, it doesn't mean that I'll wear what I want today. I will wear what I like, but my liking is defined by my socio-cultural environment. My liking is independent in me, but it is not independent, purely independent. It is have its influence. It is influenced by your socio-cultural environment. Getting my point means if I am dressing today in this style, this is my liking. I love it, but that have the socio-cultural sanction. That's why I can wear that. So we'll not discuss this much deeper. That I know you are very interested to watch this video and love to discuss with me. So dear friends, these are the environmental factors that determines our personality. So let us quick recap. We discussed the determinants of personality, psychological factors, the determinants, biological, biological heredity, brain, psychological factors, your intelligence, then comes your social factors, social interaction, your family, cultural factors, belief system, and religion, and finally we discussed the environment factors, your immediate environment and your socio-cultural environment. So that is why our determinants of personality. These are my references. You can cross-check them, or you can refer separate books. There is lots of material available on the determinants of personality. I have tried to concise them and take it in one place. And so, as customary, our next video will be. Can you guess to by seeing this image? Yes, you are right. We'll be discussing various approaches to personality, and that first approach will be type approach. Means we'll be discussing next video is type approach of personality. Dear friends, if you like this video, if you love it, you can share with your friends, with your teachers or your colleagues or someone who likes to study psychology. And if you dislike it, kindly share your displeasure with me. But how will you share? that you can share with me by writing in my comment box, or you can writing me a personal mail or vermasudit at the rate of yahoo.com. I'll be glad to receive your emails and love to reply you as soon as you email me. By that time, thank you friends watching this video.